name is James Otunga. I'm from the Corner Circle supervisory team.
So the supervisory committee is an oversight committee over the board of the Safaricom. It's anchored in the SACCO Act. So what we do is we give assurance around all the transactions that are done by management. So when I say management, it's the CEO and the head of department. And then for the board, because they need to make decisions that concern the SACCO, so then we also supervise the work they do.
This is very important for us to ensure that we are successful in whatever we do, and whatever we do it according to laid down regulations to ensure that prosperity of our SACCO.
Working at Safaricom SACCO has been amazing, given that I love the working culture in terms of the work ethics is amazing in terms of all staff are working towards ensuring that we deliver the promise of empowering members.
I'd reckon myself as a problem solver. And this moves on the context of whenever I see someone coming with a problem, then thereafter they leave my desk smiling. I feel like I've achieved something in the world.
It fulfills me when I help a client to acquire whatever thing that they need to acquire from the SACCO, and I offer solutions for their problem.
You know, when a member comes in and I'm able to help them probably secure a loan to start a business, me sitting back and seeing that business thrive, seeing these members able to pay back their loan, it's really fulfilling, and it keeps me motivated every single day.
So for me, when I'm in this role, and even if I leave this role, because our time is limited, we can only be here for 6 years. For me, it's the fact that we've set in structures that work, you know, and that I know my money is safe.
The SACCO that I joined has grown in leaps and bounds. And I would also say there was an aspect of growing under the wings of a giant, which is Safaricom PLC.
Last year, tulipona Mzai atushow, okay? You guys are of age, mmekoma. Akatushow sasa, kijana, ama demu, simama, nasa, you be independent.
For me, first I was hesitant, I was reluctant, but now I am enthusiastic. I'm like, it's time to move on.
And so we went for a brand architecture workshop, and it was very engaging. And we learned so many things about ourselves and the things that we need to do. And out of that workshop, we arrived at the values, the purpose that we need. We didn't have a purpose, we didn't have values, we didn't have even mission.
We realized that we are getting our identity, and we reached out to ask them of different members. We went to an feel it. And when we had the SGM and we explained to members and buying, it's like we were being reborn in a sense.
So the new brand is Corner Circle, and it's for visionary, ambitious, young individuals who are looking to break the ground of where they've been, and it's for community where we are looking to bring the community resources for the good of the members and their well-being, but importantly, that they can be able to build wealth and their future.
25 or 20 years ago, we were those diseases. Yeah? The days who were ahead of us held our hands. And we said, why don't we make a deliberate decision to also hold these ones who are below, who are more than the majority? And if we do that well, we end up having a community. And a community of young savers that start early to be where we are today, 20 years later.
When it comes to financial education, our parents never taught us. We learned. And as we learn the hard way, we have to apply those lessons to our children. And so I started by creating junior accounts for my 3 children. Many years later, when I retire, my children should be able to guarantee me, or if I need a loan, to do my projects post-retirement.
My dad used to give us allowances. He thought it would be a better idea using that 500 to go just save it in your junior SACCO account. Because if you save it today, it will save it tomorrow.
So my mother aliniambia sikuwa najua mimi niko kwa SACCO fulani. Saa ndio vile niliingia 18 akaniambia mimi nishakwenda kwa SACCO na nilikuwa nakusivia for this like for 4 years now. Sasa ndo akaniambia ati umeingia 18 umekuwa sasa active member unaweza jisaidia sasa.
Kwa hiyo vipo nje, nilikuwa kujua haba na haba uzoeza kibaba, kona ina accommodate yoyote. It's not bad to save, ni poa kupiga sherehe, na ni poa pia kujua kuna kitu mahali jaguza, mahali ile ukitaka maybe kufinansiwa gari, ama utake kufungua bid, kuna mahali you can just look back, then nimekuwa nisave kona. Acha niwapigie simu ama niingie kwa app ya pesa leo ndio kesi tatizo.
So we are saying that we are bringing not only the old thought SACCO, the old model SACCO that is actually beautiful to the old people, but this is a new entity that appeals to both the old and the new. In terms of adopting technology, we'll be the best in the future. In fact, as we start from the 2024-2028 plan, technology becomes the bedrock of this brand.
We're a digital SACCO. So security is at the center stage ya kila kitu. That as well, tutaendelea to put in the assurance ya kwamba your funds, your money ziko secure.
I'm excited because of the rebrand, because I'm looking at growth. I'm looking at members feeling that they're part of the journey. All members feel they're part of the journey. I'm looking at expansion, being able to accommodate members not necessarily from the old name, but also coming on board with a new brand, accommodating everyone in the society. So I'm looking at expansion. I'm looking at growth at the long end.
My hope is that in the next 10 years, the membership of Kona SACCO will have grown to probably more than 100,000, and hoping to see Kona SACCO as #1 in Kenya and the best SACCO in Africa.
As you start work, and I'm speaking here to the very young people who are new in their careers and so on, start planning. So with the salary that you have, start planning to join SACCO, start planning to invest.
We want the youth to grow with that. So nyinyi majenzi, watu wote wenye hamjapata SACCO ya kujoin, we welcome you to Kona SACCO. Help us build this brand so that we can be able to empower you. So karibuni sana, all the Gen Zs, we welcome you.
So do not even think twice.
Good morning, members. Good afternoon, sorry. Good evening. We hope you're well. Today, we are happy to have Maridadi on board. You can tell us where you're joining us from on the chat section, and so that we know where you're joining us from. It will be a very interactive session, so kindly log in and tell us where you're joining us from. Yes, I can see Donald is joining us from Kakamega. Ruaka, Kiambu County, karibu sana. Nairobi, Yes, let's see more. Let's see some more members. Where are you joining us from? You can put it on the chat section. Kisi, karibu sana. Karibuni sana members from Westlands. We have a diaspora member from the Texas, USA. Karibu sana. Eldoret. Diana is joining us from Eldoret. Okay, so on the chat section, we have Menti, so you can go to menti.com. Go to menti.com and use the code. Are we there? Menti.com. It's on the chat section. Karibu sana from Migori. Menti.com. Are we there? Yes, karibu sana from Gong. On the chat section, we have menti.com. Use the code. Are we all there? Let's use the code 2343339. Yes. It's now on the screen. Menti.com. Use the code 2343339. Nairobi, Kakamega, tell us where you're joining us from. Yes, menti.com. The code, I beg your pardon, I'm told to repeat the code by some members. The code is 2343339. Again, 2343339. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So if we've lost you on the code, you can use the QR code. You can scan the QR code and join us on the Menti. For your participation, you stand chances of winning amazing prizes for Corner merchandise. So let's all participate. So scan the QR code and use Menti. Naivasha, Kisumu, Kajiado, Mombasa, UK. That's great. Machakos. Kisumu, Kakamega. Yeah. Kiambu County. That's great. United Kingdom. So today, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How's the mood today? It's very cold in some places. How are you feeling? What's your mood like? How are you feeling today? Please share with us. Enthusiastic. Sleepy. Someone is sleepy? Cold, fantastic, you're calm. Very cold, I suggest you grab a cup of coffee. Energized, you're chilling, you're healthy. About to buy a car, I love that. Yeah. Sleepy, fantastic, very cold. Yeah, we are here today to buy some cars. So we are looking forward to sell very many units and as well as take you how to go about it. Describe your first car in 3 words for those who have cars already. Your first car or the one that you're looking forward to buy. Subaru Forester, long and white, teeny tiny. A machine, Kadudu, yes, RAV4, fuel efficient. Nissan, Boom 12. Boom 12 is what? Very interesting, yeah. Panoramic sunroof, great. CX-8, Subaru Impreza, yeah. Comfy. Mazda CX-5, Isuzu, Prado. Does the job, small. Okay. The real horse, love it. What's your dream car? If fuel efficient and maintenance were free forever, what's your dream car? Let's go, guys. Small, reliable, fuel efficient. Mazda CX-5, Lexus, Noah new model, Mercedes GLS, where? Ford F-250, BMW, double door, the Outback, Land Cruiser, Tiguan, Honda Vezel, Fielder, Lexus, Porsche, yeah, Jeep Wrangler, Volvo XC90. Hey, kweli watu wako na taste. Members, you have very good taste in your cars. G-Wagon. Yeah? Okay, so that is it. Range Rover. Okay, thank you for sharing this. So today we have guests. They are not new. They are our partners, and they've been with us. They've been walked the journey with us. So we'll introduce Maridadi Motors. Karibuni sana to the Corner family. Today you are meeting our members, and you can hear the cars that they want to drive. So as Corner, we finance lifestyle, and we are looking forward that our members will upgrade their status through Maridadi, and we take them through the simple ways of, importing a car, what's in it for them. Those who want a Kadudu, those who want a G-Wagon, what are the do's and don'ts of importing? What car do you want to drive? I mean, do you qualify for that G-Wagon? Okay, so let's hear from Maridadi Motors. Karibu sana, Eric, to Corner. You can introduce your team, and you can take it away. Then we'll go to Q&A. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Daisy, and greetings to all the members, wherever they are in the country or outside the country. It is our great delight as Team Maridadi Motors to be with you this evening. I will quickly allow Leah to introduce the rest of the team. and then we'll quickly jump into a presentation that is going to move very fast, so that we can give the members an opportunity to interact with us and ask us questions. Whether you are dreaming to own a small car, a big car, a medium car, you are in the right place and you are in the right circle. So let me allow Leah to introduce the team so that we can jump into this short and brief presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. Good evening to all that have joined us. Thank you for making the time. So my name is Leah Wainaina from Maridadi Motors. I am in charge of the imports, and with me are two people that I'll let introduce themselves, Grace and Edwin. You can say hi to the team.
Hello, members.
Grace, you're not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. Saying my name is Grace Wambui, and I'm in the import department, and karibuni sana, and I look forward to helping you import a good car for you.
Hello, members. Good evening, wherever you are. My name is Edwin Noere, Imports Department. Welcome you.
So, Cyril, we'll hand it over back to you. This is the team that you'll be meeting as you come to get those dream cars that you're all listing here. So these are the faces that you'll be able to meet so that we can assist you get those cars. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah and the team. And just to mention, we have a bigger team than the two of them. We are a team of about 30 people. We have different departments, but the department that was relevant for this particular presentation today is the direct import team that works very closely with Kona Sacco. We've had a partnership with Kona Sacco now for more than 4 years, and we have been able to deliver quite a number of vehicles to your esteemed members. And today we want to have a good conversation with you to do with the changes that are happening in the industry. I know there's a lot of anxiety right now to do with taxes, and there is this question that people keep on asking me. What factors should they consider when they are buying a vehicle? And I want to thank your management and your team of leaders at Kona Sacco for finding it worth that we should have this engagement so that we can be able to share with you the knowledge and the experience that we have garnered over time that would help you to get the best value for money when you're buying your next vehicle. So we've been in the market for more than 15 years as a motor dealership, and we have been able to import more than 5,000 vehicles for different families in the Kenyan market, different businesses and different people. And like I said in the beginning, whether it's going to be your first car or whether you're thinking of upgrading, you are in the right place. We will make sure that the presentation is as simple as possible and as practical as possible. So today we basically want to dive into this conversation of the taxation changes that are anticipated in the auto industry. And also we will jump into the factors to consider when you're buying a vehicle. So I will basically try to help you understand very briefly how taxes are calculated for different vehicles. And I would like to emphasize that our partnership with Kona Sacco is really about helping you to get the best cars at the best prices. I would praise Kona Sacco for one thing, that we work with different SACCOs. And one of the things that excites me about working with Kona Sacco is how responsive they are to customer needs. Every time we call and there's an issue, it is sorted as quickly as possible. And this is why we are excited to do this presentation. So let's look at something a bit technical, but we tried to make it as simple as possible for you. And is meant to help you appreciate how taxes for vehicles are calculated in this country. I know that we are at different levels of information as members of the Sacco, but I want to request the people that are a bit more technical to accept that we try and make this presentation as simple as possible without going into very technical details, because it's our first presentation. Just to give you a rough idea on how the taxes are calculated for a vehicle. So say, for example, somebody wants to buy a Subaru Forester, and you are told that the taxes, the customs that you're going to pay is going to be, say, about 1.5 million shillings. exactly how is that figure calculated. So you will find that at customs, KRA, they have what they call the CRSP. And the CRSP simply stands for current retail selling price. This is to say that every vehicle that you can think of importing in Kenya, the people dealing with taxes have given it a market value, okay? And that market value is what is called the CRSP value, current retail selling price. So if we take, for example, the example of the Subaru Forester, you might find that it has been given a CRSP value based, of course, on the model and the trim and the class of the vehicle. Maybe it has been given a CRSP value of 8.5 million shillings. So you will find that this 8.5 million shillings is going to be the principal figure from which the tax is going to be calculated. And for that tax to be calculated, there has to be other parameters that will come into play. So the main parameter is, of course, the age of the vehicle. So you will know that in this country of Kenya, you are not allowed to import a vehicle that is older than 7 years. But what happens if you import a vehicle that is 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, or even 1 year, or even if it is 0 mileage? So what happens is that because the age of the vehicle affects the depreciation value, you will find that therefore the younger the vehicle, the higher the tax is going to go. So you will find that a vehicle that is 7 years old will, for example, be depreciated at a certain percentage, say 65% of the CRSP value. So they will be trying to depreciate the 8.5 million shillings that we gave as an example for Subaru Forester by 65% for them to be able to arrive at the value that you should pay as a tax for that particular vehicle. So if the car is newer, it's 6 years, you will find that the depreciation percentage is going to go down, say to 60%. And if it is going to be 5 years old, it might go down to 55%, like that. That is why you will find that the newer the vehicle you are importing, the more the tax that you're going to be requested to pay. Why? Because they depreciate the CRSP value of that vehicle to try and arrive at the figure that it should pay for a certain vehicle based on its age. Now, one of the questions that people ask is, how comes, therefore, that you will find that Toyota Prado, for example, Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, you will be told that one model for, say, 2018 is paying a higher tax than another Land Cruiser Prado of the same year. So maybe both vehicles were manufactured in 2018. One model is called a TXL. Another one is called a TX. So you will find that the TXL in this particular example would be paying a higher tax even though it is of the same year, it is of 2018. And I just wanted to touch on this and clarify for you what happens in such a scenario. You will find that even though vehicles can be of the same name, it's a Land Cruiser Prado, you will find that the trim can be very different. So you will find there is a Prado that runs on a diesel engine. There is a Prado that runs on a diesel engine, but it is a 5-seater. Another one is a 7-seater. One is a 5-seater with leather seats and sunroof. You will find one has heated seats, the other one doesn't have. Those specifications, the luxury features, are sometimes what makes one model, one vehicle, to be of a higher trim than the other. And that is why you will find that if your model is the highest trim, like in this case, maybe the TXL or even the VXL, you will find that it has a higher CRSP value. It is a more expensive vehicle. And therefore, when they depreciate from the CRSP value, you will find that you're going to pay a higher tax than somebody who is buying the same make, the same model, but the trim is a bit lower. So basically, this is how government calculates the taxes for certain or for different vehicle models. So what changes, therefore, are anticipated at the taxation level? Because I know this is what many people want to understand. First, let me tell you that an association of motor dealers have already gone to court to contest the move to change the CRSP. Because what KRA or Customs is doing is that they are not saying they are increasing taxes for vehicles. No, what they are doing is that they are changing the CRSP value. And if you have understood how I've explained briefly on how they arrive at the taxes, you will understand that if somebody comes and changes the CRSP value, so if say maybe the CRSP value of a vehicle was 5 million shillings, if I move it to 7.5 million shillings, it means that effectively I have increased the taxes that I will collect for that particular vehicle. So the dispute that is currently there is for us to be able to agree on the CRSP values for different vehicle models. Because when we look at the proposed CRSP that they want to change to, we find that it is targeting the high demand vehicles, the entry-level vehicles. These are the vehicles that people in the taxi industry use. These are the vehicles that people that are buying the fast car many times will afford to buy. So if, for example, you come and you change the CRSP value of a Nissan Note or a Toyota Vitz or a Mazda Demio, you know, the small vehicles, the Suzuki Swift, 1300cc, 1000cc, if you come and you increase their values on the CRSP by 30 or 40%, then what you have effectively done is that you have increased the taxes, the values that the tax value that people will be paying on those particular vehicles. So the position as it is right now is that this matter is in court because motor dealerships have not consented to some of the proposed values for some of the vehicle models. And therefore, it becomes difficult for us in this presentation today to tell you authoritatively how the outcome is going to be. But what we do expect is that motor dealers will have an opportunity to sit down with the taxman and be able to agree on the respective values for respective vehicle models so that we are not necessarily overcharged on the vehicles. For you as an end user, I do understand the pain that, you know, this move is likely to increase the price of the vehicle that you're dreaming to buy. For us as motor dealers, it increases our working capital requirements because it means that we have to pay more taxes. So our interests are aligned. But as you know, as good business people, we are not in a fight. What we are trying to do is to engage into a win-win conversation with the taxman so that we can be able to come up with a way forward that is good for you as the end user, for us as the motor dealers, and even, as you know, you have to play your role in paying the taxes for developing the country, which is not my topic of the day. So if you allow me, I will now move on to the factors that you should consider when you're buying a vehicle. Of course, if you have any questions in regards to that first part of the presentation, you can write them down. At the end of this second part, we are going to have a moment for you to be able to answer questions. So I like to say that a car is not just an ordinary asset today. You know, long time ago, people are buying vehicles purely as machines, locomotives for helping them to move from one place to the other. But as somebody that is very, very keen on marketing and personal branding, one of the things that I can tell you is that today your car, we like to say, is your fourth name. You know, when people are describing you somewhere and they are saying, you know, that tall, dark, you know, that guy or that lady, and, you know, the person that is being explained to does not seem to be getting the description properly. Eventually, guess what people say? The one who drives a Mazda CX-5, the one who drives a Mercedes, the one who drives a Nissan X-Trail, the one who drives a Prado, a Range Rover, whatever vehicle that you drive. Yeah, of course, if you ride a motorbike or a bicycle, that also becomes part of your description. But what we are saying here is that our vehicles today are not just locomotives. They are status symbols. So you will find that, and yesterday I was talking to somebody and they were telling me that from the time they changed their vehicle recently, it has become easier. They are in the business of doing events. So how they arrive or to the client site influences how the client perceives them. Okay. So whereas I know that from, many people that train on finances, there is a lot of theories on whether a vehicle is an investment or a vehicle is an expenditure. I want to tell you authoritatively that for some people in certain professions and in certain spaces and in certain aspirations, a vehicle is definitely an investment that you need, okay? Because it influences how people perceive you. It influences how the market perceives you. So when Corner Sacco says that they finance lifestyle, we connect with that statement to the core, because we also facilitate people's lifestyles, we facilitate people's images, and we do know that, when somebody is driving a good vehicle, it becomes part of their personal image. But what factors, therefore, should you consider when you're buying a vehicle? I'm sure in the market you have met many people in tears because they made a mistake when they were buying a vehicle. And when we talk about making a mistake when you're buying a vehicle, many times we think about losing money. But that's not all. Sometimes you don't lose the money. Sometimes you have paid and you have gotten a vehicle, but you have gotten a raw deal. You've gotten a vehicle that is not really what you wanted or is not what you needed. Because sometimes if a customer is not well educated, they will buy what they want and not what they need. And the idea here for this presentation is to help you align all these factors so that you can be able to arrive at the best choice of a vehicle at a certain moment. We will have to agree that at different stages of your life, whether it is your personal life, whether it is your family life, whether it is your business or your professional life, one vehicle is going to make better sense than the other. So the idea is to make sure that we help match you to the best vehicle at a certain point in your life. So the first thing that you should consider when you're buying a car is the budget. And here we are talking about budget and financing. Budget here is going to talk about the upfront cost of the vehicle, the buying price. This is the price that you pay at the dealership. And the important question here is, can you afford that price? Okay? Because of course you will find that at different stages of your life, some vehicles might be more expensive than you can afford. And we want you to make a prudent financial decision in the vehicle that you buy because, and this is a conversation I've had, deeply with leaders in the circle, Daisy, Anita, and even the CEO, that it is prudent to advise our members to buy what they can afford at a certain moment. Why? Because you do not want to buy a vehicle that is going to become a financial stress to you, that you become so stressed, you're running around, you're cussing in traffic and all that. So buying a good car begins by you accepting and knowing what you can afford and what you cannot afford at a certain moment in your life. And there is nothing wrong. And I want to encourage the people here who are saying they want to buy their first car. I want to advise you that there is nothing wrong with you starting with a small car that you can afford. Okay? Instead of buying a vehicle that is financially oversized for you and it becomes a financial burden to you. But here, you also have the financing aspect, to which it's not my forte. But just to mention, you will find that for you as a member of Corner Sacco, you already come in with an advantage, because once you have settled on your best budget, then you will find that you have a financing partner that you can rely on, very flexible, low deposit. Sometimes I think even without any deposit, the Sacco is financing you on the value of the vehicle. They are financing you on the installations that you need in terms of car track. They are going to finance you in terms of the insurance that you need, okay? And they give you a very flexible repayment period. So you will be able to match your repayment period, yeah, to your payslip or to your monthly earning if you're doing business. So that if what you can afford is an installment of 30,000 shillings per month or 50,000 shillings per month, you are able to sit down with your Sacco and you curate, the amount of money that you're going to borrow so that it matches your budget and it matches with your monthly expenses. But the point here is that you ought to consider the upfront value of the vehicle before you can be able to settle on a certain vehicle. So you will know, looking at my numbers, I can afford 1.5, I can afford 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. We deliver vehicles worth, yesterday we delivered a Land Rover Defender 110 worth about 22 million shillings. So it all depends on where you are in life and financially, and there will always be something that is going to be appropriate for you. So consider the budget. Number two is the vehicle type and usage. There is a reason as to why vehicles come in different shapes, different spaces, different, whether it's a four-wheel drive or whether it is a four-wheel or two-wheel drive, whether it is a four-wheel drive that is optional or fixed. There's a reason as to why they come like that. Why? Because you will find that different people and different businesses have different need for motor vehicles, okay? If you're buying a vehicle as a personal car, we have to agree that that vehicle is going to serve you more and probably is going to serve your family also. So you want to make sure that this vehicle agrees to the transport needs of you as an individual or your nuclear family. So we are talking about seating capacity here. If you have a big family, then you may want to buy a vehicle that is going to accommodate more people. So you may want to go for a 7-seater instead of going for a 5-seater, okay? The vehicle has to agree to your stage as a family. So you will find that you may be a family and, you know, all the kids are always with you. You know, you can have 10 kids or 7 kids or 8 kids, but some of the kids are fully grown up. They have their own vehicles. So they never need to travel with you, yeah? But you can have a family of 6 or 7 and you find that the kids, you know, are close in terms of age, and therefore you need to travel with them together at certain times because you don't want to hire a vehicle if you can be able to use your own vehicle, yeah? So you will find that you want to consider the seating capacity. The terrain of use, thankfully, I think today, as compared to about 18, 19 years ago when I started selling vehicles, we have had a lot of improvement on the quality of our roads. And you will find that for many places, you are able to go with a vehicle, even if it does not have very, very technical features like being a full-time four-wheel drive. So you find our roads are very good. But in case you are operating in extreme road conditions, then you definitely want to be able to match your vehicle to the terrain where you will be using it. If you're using the vehicle for commercial use, you know, you will find that, you know, the commercial requirements of your vehicle. Think about someone who is running a butchery. Yeah, so they need a vehicle that they can be using to transport their meat, their product. So you will find they may want a vehicle that has a certain interior. You want to avoid fabric seats and all those things that can absorb blood and liquids as you transport your meat. So the point here is that you have to consider the vehicle type and where you want to apply your vehicle for you to be able to arrive at the right choice. And trust you me, these are some of the reasons why you will find that somebody buys a vehicle, stays with it for a month, 2 months, and they realize they wanted to transport vegetables, they wanted to transport food, they wanted to transport meat, and they realize the vehicle is becoming a mess. It's not doing a good job. It's not fitting the commercial purpose that they wanted it to meet, and they end up returning that vehicle to the showroom. And you all know that anytime you buy a vehicle and you bring it back to the showroom, there will be that loss of value that you do not want to incur. So it really makes a lot of sense to make sure that you have matched your vehicle to the usage from day one, even before you pay the first coin on the vehicle. Number 3, of course, is fuel efficiency and type. There is the cost of buying the vehicle, but trust you me, we like to say, you will forget the price you bought your vehicle at as soon as you leave the dealership. But there is one thing that you carry with you, the cost of running your vehicle. Yeah? The cost of the vehicle, we like to say in the auto industry, is like paying dowry. Ukienda unapeana dowry pale mbuzi, 200, 300, 100, ya, unapewa bibi, unaenda naye nyumbani. Fuel efficiency is the cost of maintenance. How much is she gonna spend at the salon for hair, for nail, and all those things? Can you afford that? A vehicle is pretty much the same. So you will find that the running cost, how much you're spending per kilometer, is going to be a very, very important thing for you to consider. You also want to ask yourself whether you want to buy a vehicle that is running fully on fuel. If it is running fully on fossil fuel, that is petrol, diesel, or even these days we have vehicles that are using propane gas, you want to ask yourself, how efficient is it? And even though there will always be the manufacturer's stated fuel consumption, if you do your research further, or if you talk to a credible dealership, they will be able to tell you what the true users of the vehicle are reporting as the true fuel consumption of that particular vehicle. So you want to decide, do I buy petrol? Do I buy diesel? Do I buy one that can use gas? Or do I go hybrid? Hybrid vehicles are vehicles that use both the fossil fuels, being diesel or petrol, and they also have a mechanism of charging a battery, an inborne battery that they carry, so that once that battery has enough charge, then they are able to run on electricity as compared to running on fossil fuel. And what that does is that because it complements, it supplements the usage of the fuel, then your fuel consumption per kilometer is going to go down. And I want to encourage you and to tell you that today we have extremely reliable hybrid vehicles that people have bought and they have given very good feedback. I know there may have been challenges with hybrid vehicles in the beginning, but the technology now is very, very stable. And many of the people that we have sold hybrid vehicles to, we are talking about vehicles like Mitsubishi Outlander, the PHEV. We are talking about vehicles like, the Honda Fit Shuttle, or even the Honda Fit that are running on hybrid. And they are doing an extremely good job in terms of giving you a good return on fuel. So we are able to advise you when we look at your needs. We can tell you whether you want to go hybrid or you want to go fully mechanical and you buy one that is using fuel. And remember today, and this is definitely the future, we also have full electric vehicles. Full electric vehicles are also available, and you can be able to charge these vehicles at home, for some of them. And some of them you are able to charge at the charging station. So these are factors that you want to consider. You want to consider the availability of your fuel. Of course, petrol and diesel readily available. But when we start talking about propane gas, the gas is available, the technology and the market support for our country, it might still be in the formative years, but we have quite a number of people, and particularly in the taxi industry, that are already using gas-driven vehicles, and they are doing extremely, extremely well. So if you want to have a conversation on this issue of the fuel type, efficiency, it's something that we can have a bit more intimately when we are discussing a certain model of a vehicle. But the point that I wanted to drive home here is that you may afford a vehicle, okay? You may have the budget, you may have the financing, but you need to ask yourself whether you will be able to afford the running cost of that particular vehicle. And when we talk about the running cost here, we also talk about service and maintenance. How many kilometers will you go before you service the vehicle? How much, what parts will you need to change when you're servicing this vehicle? How much will it cost you? How are you going to finance that? Because that is a repetitive cost. It is a cost that keeps coming, maybe when you do 5,000 kilometers or 10,000 kilometers. And I would say that many people have ended up changing their vehicles, even though they afforded them at the point of buying, because they realized that those vehicles were consuming a bit too much. Number 4 is the issue of market support, reliability, and maintenance. Market support here, of course, we are looking at brand reputation in the market, availability of spare parts, and qualified human resource to be able to maintain your vehicle. This is absolutely very, very important. Once you buy a vehicle, like I said, it is as good as whether it's going to run the following morning. Okay, if it's going to run, it is because you are able to service it. It is because you are able to get the parts that you need to do to service and maintain this particular vehicle. So you need to know the model that you want to buy, because I know this circle has extremely exposed people that have traveled all over the world. As you can see, we already have people that are logging in from other parts of the world. And one of the things you will find is that if, for example, you are in the UK or you are in Germany or US, I've been to this market and I have seen just how developed the auto industries there are. And you have extremely beautiful vehicle models there. And you will find that, with money, you can be able to import some of those models and bring them here in Kenya. But the question becomes, Now, once you have brought it in, whether by air or by sea, the day you need someone to service that vehicle, are you also going to ship a mechanic? And you find that that is not sustainable. So you will find that you want to be sure that the vehicle that you have brought, the model of the vehicle that you have brought, is one that has market support. When we say market support, we are talking about fuel, we are talking about mechanics and guys that are able to do service, repair, and maintenance on your vehicle when you need it. That is a very, very important factor to consider, and is one that makes people, again, dispose their vehicles, because they find that anytime they need to change a part, they have to wait for 3 weeks, 1 month, sometimes even longer than that, for that part to be shipped into the country. Yeah. So what do you do for that 1 month when your vehicle is seated in the garage waiting for that spare part to arrive? So this becomes an important factor. It may not be, however, for someone who is buying a second or a third vehicle. Maybe they're just buying a vehicle from a perspective of passion. So we are not saying that you cannot go ahead and ship that, that vehicle, that the Bugatti that you dream about. No, that's not what we are saying. If you want it, I am sure Daisy and Anita are waiting to finance you to buy that vehicle. Yeah, but what we are saying is that for someone who is buying their first car, it is a decision they need to calculate a bit more. Yeah, we all have passion vehicles. I also have them. And once you have 1 car, 2 cars, and you're buying the third car for your birthday, or you just want it as a piece of prestige at home, or to be driving around, you want a convertible, you're not the kind of a client we are talking about here when we talk about market support, reliability, and maintenance. There are people that can afford to wait for 2 months for a part to be shipped from the UK or from any part of the world. But there are people who really need their vehicle to be able to run the following morning, and they don't have time to wait when it breaks down. I hope that point is clear. There's the issue of mileage, history, and condition. Mileage here, of course, refers, the vehicle has two ages. The word age here meaning how old. So there is how old a vehicle is from the perspective of when it was made, when it was manufactured. To compare it with human beings, it would be like, when were you born? Yeah, that is the first age. The age of the vehicle chronologically from the time it was made. Then, of course, there is the mile age. Mile age means how many miles has it done? And of course, you will find that, this is a very contentious issue in the country. I am one of the ambassadors who push for people to insist on genuine mileage vehicles, because there is a lot that you can be able to tell about a vehicle from its mileage. This is going to communicate sometimes it's going to communicate the quality of the vehicle. However, there's something I would want to clarify here. It does not mean that if a vehicle has a mileage that seems high, that vehicle is bad. If you've been following the news, you have seen some vehicles that have done mileages of even up to 1.5 kilometers, 2 million kilometers. I was looking at another Toyota the other day for someone in the US who sells newspapers, and it has done 1.5 million kilometers, and it's still driving like new. So a high mileage does not necessarily mean that the vehicle is bad. Yeah, but it is good to appreciate that it is a factor on the condition of this vehicle. But a lot is going to depend on how that vehicle has been maintained through that mileage. So I want to give you an example. Somebody can give you a vehicle that has a low mileage, but one that has a serious accident history. There are guys who cause an accident every weekend, and I know they are not members of Corner Circle. Yeah. So that guy, in 3 months, he could have caused about 5 accidents, and the vehicle has problems on every side that it has knocked a tree against. But the mileage is still low. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that you may find the vehicle has changed dashboards and all that things. It may not even deploy airbags for you when you need them. So what we are saying here is that mileage is not the sole factor that you look at when you're buying a vehicle. You can buy a vehicle that has low mileage, but one that came with a manufacturer's defect. And in fact, the reason why it could be in the market with a low mileage is because it has a manufacturer's defect. Maybe it had a problem with the gearbox, manufacturer's defect. It had a problem with the braking system, with the engine end. The dealership decided, instead of fixing this, let's just ship it to Africa. Yeah. So they ship it to you with a low mileage, but the truth of the matter is that you will have a problem with the transmission and all those things. So here, you have to be very open-minded to understand that sometimes a vehicle will have done 120,000 kilometers, but it is in very good shape, better shape than a vehicle that has done 40,000 kilometers, but is a piece of vehicle that is coming from numerous or several accidents. So this is where, authenticity and transparency and integrity comes in, because every vehicle that we import from any part of the world has a history. And you will find that as dealerships, because we have subscriptions to auctions, we are able to access some technical information about these vehicles that you may not be able to access. And this is where we are able to check the grade of the vehicle and know whether it is an accident vehicle or it is not an accident vehicle. Yeah. Now, you also find that when it comes to owning a vehicle, it's not just about having the hard asset at home. It is also about making sure that the documentation is above board. And I'm sure if you've been following auto news in Kenya, you may have come across a time when big vehicles were being stopped by Interpol. And then the Interpol here, is a department of the police that deals with international matters. So they are going to look at the history of the vehicle you're driving from the country of origin. So I want to give you an example. Like right now, there's a big menace in the UK market where Range Rover Sports are being stolen right, left, and center. And once those Range Rover Sports are stolen, some of them will be transshipped via Dubai and other markets. They will end up coming here in Kenya. And you will find that this vehicle is blacklisted. The Interpol are looking for it. So you will find that if you're caught driving that vehicle, because you are a member of an international community through your government, that vehicle can be impounded. How do you stop that? So you will find that there is a document, called Certificate of Export. For example, when you're buying from Japan, and when you're buying from UK, it's going to be their logbook, And that document certifies that that vehicle is being exported from that country legally. It is not a stolen asset. So for you might just go to a dealership or to meet a broker somewhere on the street. They are selling a Range Rover Sport. They show you the vehicle. They give you a copy of the logbook. You do your search at NTSA, and you will find that the vehicle is registered legally. Even taxes were paid. But what you may not know is that maybe it had a dispute from the country of origin. So all these things to do with ownership documents, import documents, the inspection report, the export certificate are absolutely very, very important. And particularly, not just for the people that buy the high value vehicles, but also for all of us, because you do not want to buy an asset that is disputed. But you will find that the issue of exportation of stolen vehicles usually affects the high-end vehicles, the Land Cruisers, the Land Rovers, the Mercedes, BMWs, those big cars that have high tickets that, thugs out there are busy trying to steal and export to Africa. So that is another important factor. As we near the end, we have to look at the safety and comfort features of the vehicle. How many airbags? What is the braking system? Is it automatic braking system, lane assist, high speed alert? Today, vehicles can have as many features as you want. And one of the things I have seen this as a pro and a con. We are a dealership that has served many customers, and we serve many customers of different age sets. So you will find that if, for example, you're buying a vehicle for your mom, your dad, who may have pushed a number of years, I have seen many of them not wanting to buy a vehicle that has too many features. They want to keep it as simple as possible. Pretty much the same thing I see with the phones. I have seen many times I have wanted to change my mom's phone. My mom is in her 80s, and she's like, I want to continue using the phone that I'm used to. And it is the same with motor vehicles. There are people that want the extra features. There are people that don't want the extra features. The younger people are, of course, more curious. They have a higher ability and capacity to learn. They want their vehicles to have 1,000,001 new features. The same thing they want on their phones. But you will find that for some of our members, we want to sell a vehicle that is basic as possible. Why? Because, if you have too many features in a vehicle, then those features can become a distraction to the driver. And we do not want to go into what can happen if a driver is distracted, sorry. Yeah. I mean, if someone has too many lights on the dashboard and they are driving a vehicle and they feel overcrowded by the lights they are seeing on the dashboard, that influences their confidence, that influences their ability to be a safe driver on the road. So when you're buying a vehicle, for example, for your senior parents, you want to make sure that even though there is what you would want to buy for them, you make sure that you're buying for them what they are able to handle. Do not overcrowd them with technology that they do not actually need. Safety and comfort features are very, very important. Is the issue of insurance. This has been resolving itself with time. I mean, we are coming from a market that was biased in terms of certain brands, and you will find that insurance companies were largely refusing to insure or optimally insure brands that they did not consider to be very popular. I don't want to mention brands because I don't want to bias them. I come from a point of knowing just how the auto industry has made strides in terms of stabilizing technologies. And today, pretty much you can toss a coin and buy one of the brands that are known, and you will buy a good vehicle. But this has not always been the case. I mean, there's a generation of clients that grew up believing that Toyota is the only car that is good. This has largely changed. So there before, it was necessary to know whether you will be able to get optimum insurance for the model you are choosing. By optimum insurance here, we mean, you could be told that if, for example, your vehicle is, say, a certain brand, we are going to insure you up to 80% or up to 70%. But these days, I don't hear those conversations. Insurance companies are happy to insure most of the popular brands, and therefore it might not be something that is going to scare you a lot. Now, the other beautiful thing that you have as a member of Corner Sacco is that you don't even have to get stressed about this. Yeah, the Sacco has already filtered the insurance companies for you. They have credible insurance companies in the panel. And there is one thing that you don't realize as a member of the Sacco. Because of the numbers that you push, you are likely to get a premium service from the insurance company because your Sacco has already pre-negotiated for you. And you will find that your Sacco is probably giving an insurance company, hundreds, tens of vehicles to insure every year. So if there is a problem with your individual vehicle, that insurance company will be running around to make sure that you get the best service because of the brand or the umbrella brand that you're working under, which is Corner Sacco. So I feel on this one for you, you don't have much to be able to worry about because you're already sorted through Corner Sacco. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me look at this as the second last slide on why would you want to import your vehicle with Maridadi Motors. Of course, Leah and the team are here, and the last slide is going to have their numbers, their number that you can call us on, and the email address. I will also give you the direction to our offices. Our socials are also wide open, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and the others. You're able to reach us through those socials. You can also log into our website, and our website has an active chat, which is www.maridadimotors.com. Don't do that now because I don't want you to go off the meeting, but you can be able to log in later and you will be able to chat with us. So why would you consider importing with us? And why import and not just buy locally? Let me clarify that we sell locally. We have a showroom here at Ridgeways on Kiambu Road, and we have a physical stock of vehicles that you're able to walk in anytime and look at. But many times or sometimes you will find that the specific vehicle that you are looking for is not on our stock list. Yeah. So what do you do in such a case? You find that you want a Lexus, NX200T. You want yours to be wine red. You want it to have a bright interior. You want it to have a sunroof. But what you're finding in the showrooms are different colors, or you find the right color, but it doesn't have the sunroof. And you find because our motor vehicle market in Kenya is not highly organized, looking for a vehicle physically can be very tedious because you have to move from one showroom to the other. The brokers in the showrooms and the salespeople are telling you, I have that car, give me 1 hour. I have that car, give me 2 hours. You give them the 2 hours, the vehicle is not available because even them, they are shooting in the dark and trying to see whether they can get that vehicle from somewhere. So that is why you find that many times we have to have the service for importation. Why? Because when it comes to importation, we look at a wide database of vehicles. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of vehicles outside there. So getting what you want out there becomes easier. And within 6 weeks to 8 weeks, we have shipped the vehicle and it is here in the country. And the good thing is that our importation team is going to work with you every step of the way. They're going to share with you the photos, the videos of the vehicle, the export certificate. Yeah, once you accept that this is the vehicle I want to narrow down in, we are going to do a quotation and guide you and tell you this is how much you're going to pay for it. Once you approve, it has to go through quality inspection, yeah, by the approved inspection company called QISJ for Japan and for UK. And that vehicle can only be loaded to come to Kenya if it has been certified to be of good quality. And the inspection that we are talking about here is one where they go and they look at the vehicle physically and determine that the vehicle is roadworthy. Yeah. So this is where we get the grading of the vehicles. Mostly we focus on importing vehicles between grade 3.5 and grade 4.5. And those are vehicles that we are able to guarantee you that they will be able to serve you. And if you can talk to people that have bought vehicles from us through your SACCO, they will tell you that we provide them with warranty on the engine, the gearbox, and the drivetrain for the vehicles that we import for them. Okay. Then also we have partners, 20 plus licensed international dealers that work with us from UK, Singapore, Japan, Thailand, Australia, all of them offering a wide variety of vehicles that you can be able to choose from. Yeah. We are talking about hassle-free importation process. We've been in this game for a long time. We have made the mistakes. You don't have to repeat them. Yeah. So we will be able to handle the importation process for you, and you will be able to get your vehicle on time, and our team will work hard to communicate with you and update you. For all the vehicles that we have sold through Kona SACCO, and there are quite many, I'm sure the team led by Anita and Mr. Njoroge can be able to tell you that we have not had problems with the quality of the vehicles that we have imported for your members. Then we are talking about genuine low certified mileage. We focus on getting mileage that is certified and that is genuine. We access the databases to check the history of the vehicle that you're getting to make sure that you're getting the best. As a business leader and as a family man, one of the things I tell the team here is that we are not just selling a locomotive. We are selling a security asset to our family. This is the vehicle that you use to take your kid to the clinic if the fevers, hit the ceiling and you need to go to the hospital. So you want to make sure that this vehicle is completely reliable. And we pride ourselves in making sure that we are delivering vehicles that are reliable. You can turn on the engine anytime and you're sure it's going to take you where you want to go. Safety for us is very, very important because we know the cost of a vehicle that breaks down in the middle of the highway. That can be the last time that motorist is going to be on the road. Yeah, and there are many examples of vehicles having broken down at the wrong time, at the wrong spot, and the motorist did not make home, in one piece because, let's be very honest with each other. I mean, some of the roads that we have in our cities, you cannot be sure who is passing there at night. So you don't want your vehicle to stop anywhere. You want to be sure that your vehicle is going to take you where you're going. The last point, of course, is that we help you to access duty-free imports for people who are qualified. Yeah, so these are diplomats, returning residents coming from other parts of the country coming back home. They have an opportunity to import a vehicle without paying taxes, and we are happy to help them to do just that. And there is, of course, the one category of people that we are very passionate about, the people living with disabilities, our special people. They also have a provision to import vehicles without paying taxes. And it's good you go and educate your family members who are born able differently and tell them that they have an opportunity to get vehicles that are duty-free. And because I know that Kona SACCO embraces inclusivity. And these are members of our society that we ought to support a lot. So you will find that there are vehicles they can be able to get at 300,000, 500,000, the small entry-level vehicles. Yeah, I am not saying that all of them cannot afford better, but I know what you mean. For them, they need the vehicle even more desperately. And every coin that they can save is very, very important. Yeah. But then, of course, you will find that yes, somebody can be able differently, but is financially endowed. It still doesn't hurt to save a coin that you can save. You can be able to import a vehicle without paying duty legally. It is not something that is under the table. You just need to have the right documentation. And our team here for imports is able to assist you with all these things until you get your vehicle. And I know your SACCO is very happy to finance that. So how do you find us? I talked about social media. We are on all the platforms. You can call us. This specific number goes directly to Leah and her team, the direct imports team. Is right on the screen. And then, of course, you can be able to email us on importsafely@maridadimotors.com. And I said that physically, we are at Ridgeways on Kiambu Road. We are about 3.5 kilometers from the DCI headquarters. We are opposite Total petrol station. And we are very, very happy to receive you and serve you here. Yeah. So I want to encourage you. We like to say it's always time to buy a good vehicle. So whether you're buying your first car, whether you want to upgrade your vehicle, we are more than delighted to work with you. If you want to upgrade your vehicle and you have an old car, we can help you sell the old vehicle. We can give you a trade-in deal. Yeah. You have no excuse as to why you should not get the vehicle that you are dreaming of or that you're passionate about. Why? Because we as Maridadi Motors, we are here to provide you with a vehicle. And then you have an extremely liquid and financially endowed financier called Kona Sacco. So I don't even know what you're waiting for. You should be calling that number, sending that email, going to our socials, go to our website, look at the vehicles that you're dreaming of, talk to us, and let us deliver a vehicle to you. And I'm going to make sure that within the next 1 or 2 weeks, we are going to sit down with your team at the Sacco. They are always pushing us to give you the best discounts and to give you the best offers. So I am going to make sure that within the next 48 to 72 hours, we are going to curate a special offer for members of Kona Sacco, that when you buy this vehicle, you're going to get this voucher, or you're going to get this gift, or you're going to select from a list of goodies that we are going to make sure that you can be able to access if you order your vehicle within the coming 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The details of the offer are going to be very well enumerated on the documents or the information that we are going to share to you through the Sacco. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for finding time to listen to this presentation. And this is my last slide, and all it says is thank you for your time. Over to you, Daisy.
Thank you so much, Eric, for that presentation. You have covered a lot. Thank you so much. I hope all members are now aware about the do's and don'ts of importing a vehicle, what you should consider when you're buying a vehicle. On the chat section, we have also put a link. If you want a call back after this, we can do that. We can call you back after this session. Maridadi can get in touch with you. Whatever vehicle you want, you will be given a quotation, and Kona will give you financing. We do financing up to 80% of the vehicle, and you do 20%. Maybe, Eric, a few questions the members that have floated. Do you have tuk-tuks? Maybe you can take that. And trade-ins you have answered. In terms of importing commercial vehicles like Land Cruiser for tourism purposes. So maybe you can take those 2 questions.
Thank you so much. Let me start with the Land Cruisers for tourism. Yes, we do. We can import for you from South Africa, from Australia. We just need to agree on the specs that you're looking at, and we will be able to assist you to get the exact Land Cruiser that you're looking for. We sell tuk-tuks, and Sorry, Daisy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, I'd lost the link. So just to repeat, yes, we can help you import Land Cruisers for tourism, and we will also help you customize them. We just need to be able to get the specifications that you need, and we are going to work closely with your SACCO to help you get the best. We sell tuk-tuks, we sell motorbikes. We are also pioneering electric tuk-tuks and electric motorbikes. In fact, we have the first consignment of our electric motorbikes right in the showroom. If you would want to look at them, you can be able to visit us and you can be able to look at them.
Okay, thank you for that. And there are some members who want to know if you have, if for example, if I'm working in Eldoret, how can I get assistance if I want a unit from you?
Yeah, thank you so much. To the comfort of the member in Eldoret, we sell vehicles even to people who are in the diaspora. Maybe they want to surprise their parents or their children with a vehicle as a gift. We work with them remotely, identify the vehicle, show them videos. They get financed by Kona SACCO, and we are able to deliver the vehicle. So I want to tell you, if you're in Eldoret or you feel you're far, you are as close as you are in this meeting today. You are in this meeting today via technology. So we can be able to converse through technology, and we make sure that everything is done correctly, and we are going to deliver that vehicle to your doorstep. Daisy here and the team, Anita, and they allow us, we can give you a quotation that includes transporting the vehicle to Kisumu, to Eldoret, to wherever you are, and we are going to deliver that vehicle as Maridadi Motors to your doorstep. So distance does not have to be a hindrance.
Okay, thank you so much for that. A member from Eldoret, you have heard. You can get your unit from wherever. Maybe one more question for the diaspora members. How do they enjoy the duty-free? How does it work? What's the process? Maybe quickly.
So very quickly, I will let Leah give you a brief on how exactly it works. Leah, make sure you don't use more than 2 minutes. I know it can be a long process. Just touch on the main aspects.
Sorry. Thank you. So basically on the chat bit, I have posted the requirements that you need for duty-free. So for duty-free vehicles. So the categories are 3. So you can either get one as a person living in diaspora, as a person living with disabilities, or as a diplomat. What I've posted is for a returning resident, that is for someone in the diaspora. Basically, what you will need is, of course, you need to have a vehicle on the other end, and you need to have been there and working for at least 2 years. In order for you to bring back a car, the car will need to be fully insured. You'll also need to have a valid driver's license. You will also need to have a work permit from the institution that you work with. And once this is provided, then what the other item that we will need from you is proof of sale of the vehicle you're currently using. What they do is you're required to actually dispose the car you have in the diaspora for you to get one in the country. So you'll need to have sold the car, show evidence that you have transferred the vehicle to a new owner, the agreement that was used in the transaction. And with this paperwork, then you will need to have been back in the country as we begin the process for you to bring in your vehicle. The process will take 60 days. And after the 60 days, you will provide your Kenyan passport that will show the time that you came into the country and that you've been there as we've been doing the process of the importation. Then you will be issued with exemption letter from KRA, at which point your car will now be freed from the customs into your hands.
Good. So I know the list sounds a bit long. And one day I asked someone in KRA, why do you make it, like it looks like such a tedious process for a returning resident to get this tax exemption? He gave me a response. I was not happy with it, but let me give you the response that he gave me. He told me, this program for returning residents getting tax exemption was designed to encourage or to welcome back home our people that are living in the diaspora. so that they can bring back their experience, they can bring back their expertise, and sometimes, of course, they bring back their investments back home. So these people living in the diaspora, of course, you have furniture, you have your personal items that you own, yeah, and one of those personal items can be the vehicle. So you will find that number one, the government wants to be sure that you own a vehicle where you're coming from, okay? Because you are not able to bring your vehicle the way you can bring back your old TV or your old fridge if you want to. You cannot do that. You know, vehicles have a different regulatory framework all over the world. So how then do you get compensated for the vehicle that you owned on the other side? So this is the route that you follow. So that is why you see when Leah is talking, she's telling you the government is interested in knowing which vehicle you owned on the other side. So if you owned a Toyota Vitz, they don't want you to use that facility to bring in a Range Rover Sport. Yeah, I am not representing the government here, I'm giving you information. Yeah, if what you owned on the other side is a 1000cc car, they don't want you to use this facility for returning resident to bring in a 5000cc vehicle. So this is why they will ask you for documents that prove what vehicle did you own on the other side. So they want the logbook, they want to know that you had insured that vehicle, you owned it for more than 2 years, and then, interestingly enough, they want to be sure that you have already sold that vehicle and you have transferred it to somebody in the country that you're coming from. It's like they are trying to, make sure that when you come back in Kenya, you do not start, from a lower position that you are on the other side. But then also, and I made a lot of noise, they want to ensure that you do not go to a step higher than you are on the other side in as far as car ownership is concerned. So they want to make sure that they are giving you duty exemption for a vehicle that is equal to or lower than the one that you are driving from the country that you're coming from. I hope that's well explained.
Okay, thank you so much for that presentation, Eric. I can see comments from members. They're saying they are very happy with the presentation and they are very happy that you have itemized everything that they wanted to hear. So we have listed a link there. If you want a call back from Maridadi Motors, please use the link, the Google link, to leave your details, and the rest will be done and will be financed to. If you want financing, if you want to buy in cash, you get amazing discounts through Maridadi Motors. So thank you so much for the time taken, and we thank you so much for making the time and educating our members. We wish you the very best. Asante sana. Members, asante sana. Those who are asking for the link, we are live on YouTube. You can get the link from there, access it from there, and then you can forward and share it with your friends and families. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Tumeshukuru sana. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, team Kona Sacco. Thank you, members, and thank you, team Maridadi.
Asante.
Nice. And it's just good in general.
Yeah, see, I'm going to send you the screenshot.
I mean, you might not believe it. There's a time I'm a government officer in charge of properties. There's a time no check could be given without the countersigning of the government officer. You could be surprised. That happened.
Interest rates at 18%, 20%. If it's a facility of 4 or 5 years, at the end of the day, the difference is very big depending on the amount taken originally.
The other thing I can also tell for sure, it was taking a long time for approval process. You fill and then you are told we shall come or contact you, and then we call you to confirm whether it was either your loan has gone through and it was fully signed. I remember approaching one of the senior persons from finance department, asking them, why can't we start something like a circle? Because where I was working before I joined them, we had a circle there. So the management were happy about it.
It started with 10 members, 10 dreamers who came together, and they came up with the idea that they can form a circle. And then they were able to bring this idea to 220 members who formed the initial membership of the circle.
When I joined, there was a lot of, paperwork. Sometimes you have to do a lot of physical work to the circle to just find out where is the status of my loan. And there was, quote unquote, it wasn't so much digital compared to today.
The initial products that we used to do manually, even issuing or giving out of dividends and rebates.
When I joined PLC, nilishika mkono na my mentor. He explained to me certain things that were beneficial. And one of them, he spoke about the circle. He was kind enough, actually, kuniletea forms like me.
People realize through empirical evidence, which empirical in terms of I am your friend, you have seen a product, I bought a product. The moment you come and then you realize, oh, you can buy a product. Where did you get the money? Okay, from our circle. Many people start now talking about the good news about the circle. And since then, a big number start now enrolling to our circle.